Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary, distinguished guests, welcome to Ridiculous, the Life of a Clown. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ridiculous, Life of a Clown, with our very special guest, Luz Gaxiola. Luz, tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. My name's Luz Gaxiola. I'm a clown, obviously. I mostly do I do a lot of musical clowning, physical theater, bright cartoony style, all sorts of occasions like variety shows, festivals, private events, theater, yeah, a bunch of different stuff.
Why do you do clown?
Well, since this is a post-pandemic recording, I feel pretty confident in being able to say I can't not do it. Turns out, when I don't do it, it's bad for me, which is what I figured out in the last couple of years. But also, it's just an art form that I really love. I think a lot of people get a lot of good benefits out of it. Like, I think it's just really powerful thing to bring people together for moments of play and like simple joy. And I just enjoy it. I love nerding out about it. Like, it's the sort of puzzle I really enjoy. Like, why does this make you laugh, but this thing that's like just a little bit different, not quite hit the mark. So it's a fun puzzle in that way, and I just love it.
I love nerding out about clown and you know my deep complicated philosophy as to what makes things funny and what doesn't. So why'd you start? What brought you to clown in the first place?
I just always loved theater, and then when I was like in high school, I realized like, drama's fine, but comedy is really where it's at. So I was focusing on comedy, and then I ended up going to the Arte School of Physical Theater, which was a really, really great program. It was exactly what I needed at just the moment I needed. Before then, I feel like I was very much in the verbal world mostly, and I knew to get to be more rounded out performer, I needed to focus on the physical side. And it was great. It was very difficult in just the right way. And then Jeff Raz came to that school and did a clown workshop and held auditions for the clown school. And at that time I was like, I'd be a fool to not audition for the clown school. And then I got in and I was like, well, I would be a fool to not attend clown school. So I went to the San Francisco Clown Conservatory, and it was like the best educational decision I've ever made.
Very cool. What year were you?
Oh gosh, I think that was 2004. I might be getting this wrong right now. It might have been 2003.
I think I missed you year by year. I deferred for a year when I went because I just couldn't afford the money for the move. I ended up doing 2005, 2006, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it was 2006, 2007. I'm not sure. So let's talk a little bit about Circus Finelli. How did that come to be? What is Circus Finelli? What was Circus Finelli? What is it now? Explain Circus Finelli to me.
Yeah, sure. So, in the year that I was at the San Francisco Clown Conservatory, there were 3 other women that I just loved, got along with really well, really complementary styles of humor. Well, actually, I guess when we began, there were 4. So it was me and Molly Shannon, Virka Zashkodna, Z Smith, and Emily Rosenvellon. And so we were working together, and then Emily just had she wanted to work on different stuff, so then we mostly were working as a quartet, and we stayed a quartet for several years. And Circus Finelli was great. One of the first things we did is we applied for a theater festival in the Czech Republic, and we were accepted, and then that was really awesome experience. We had like a big fundraiser to fund our trip over there, and it was just hilarious. It was a really cool theater festival. Most of the other stuff in the festival was like, these like 3-hour intense like Polish dramas, for example. And we just had like a half-hour clown show that was like barely a show. When it was good, it was good, but it was like our first draft basically. So that show was, when things were flowing well, it was good, but it was not, when everything wasn't perfect, it was not good. Which is a great learning experience. So we came back to the States and just did a lot of different gigs. We made several different hour-long shows as a quartet, and then we were also producing a variety show for a couple years called the Circus Finale Review, which was really great. Super fun experience. A lot of work, but totally worth it. And then Z Smith ended up moving back to Baltimore to help out with some family stuff, and Masa Mateen worked with us for a while, which was super great. I love Masa. Brilliant, brilliant performer. Really fun dynamic between the rest of us. Yeah. So that was really great. And then, everybody had some like different life stuff going on, and I decided I wanted to move back to the Pacific Northwest, which is where I'm from. And Molly Shannon came with me, and so we worked for several years as a duo, which was super fun. Working as a duo is kind of its own genre, I guess I would say. And that was really cool. And then, and then Molly ended up going back down to San Francisco, and we haven't worked together since the pandemic started, but totally excited to do some more projects with Molly. But yeah, I've been living now in Olympia, Washington for about 4 years, and been doing some projects with a really awesome ensemble here called the String and Shadow Puppet Theater. That's been like mostly what I've been doing while I've been in Olympia. But I've also, I've always been doing my own solo stuff, just like random gigs here and there, variety shows, all sorts of stuff.
Can you tell me more about String and Shadow?
Yeah, String and Shadow is, they do mostly like large puppets. So it's like a lot of paper mache masks and a lot of big puppets that take more than one person to operate. And I just love the style. It's very bright and cartoony. That's what I've always loved. And usually very comedic. So there's like a lot of clowning involved with the puppet shows. And it's been really great working with Emily and Donald here in Olympia, who are the founders of the group. And they also make all the puppets. When the pandemic started, they had the idea to do a drive-in puppet show because, everything was like social distanced and all the other things were canceled. So I thought that was like an awesome idea, a way to still have some kind of performance when everything was shut down. So that was really fun. That was all big puppets, outdoor. People drove in. There were some people just like sitting on blankets, distance from each other at the front of the stage. I mean, the stage, it was like just in a parking lot. But that was really great. And then last summer we did another show that was really fun. It was a big show called Fauna Fantastique here in a park in Olympia. And I just love that show. It was kind of more of a grandiose project because there was 4 main puppeteers, and there was also a live band. It was all live music, and that was really fun. I got to be in the band playing accordion, and then I was also in a few of the scenes on the stage doing some clowning, and then I also did like a silly voice for one of the puppets.
Well, that's super cool. You used to have a puppet as part of Circus Finale, a marionette. What was his name?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure you're referring to Blinkywinky.
Yeah. He was kind of made of candy.
Yeah. So Yeah, a good friend of mine, Tanya Padilla, made Blinkywinky. And Blinkywinky was originally created to be a villain in like a healthy eating show that toured preschools and kindergartens in the East Bay in California. And yeah, so that was a really fun show. It was all marionettes, which I love. It's, yeah, marionettes are their own kind of challenge to move a marionette. And also, I just really enjoy untangling things. So marionettes was a really good match for me. Like, to suddenly have like very high stakes. Oh my god, you have 10 seconds to untangle this and get out there, which I like. Yeah, so Blinky Winky was the villain of the healthy eating show, and he was a very seductive character made out of delicious junk food, candy, French fries. He had like soda pop cup body. He was a very beautiful monster. And yeah, after doing that kids show for a while, we puppeteers started joking about like, oh, it would be great to just have this character, but put him in an entirely different context and have him do like adult shows. And that's exactly what we did. So yeah, Blinky Winky's been in many variety shows on his own.
Very cool. Rolling back quite a ways to clown and your work as a clown. What is integral to the work of a clown? What is at its core? What makes clown?
I think I would say what might differentiate clown from other types of performance is the relationship to the clown and the audience. I think there's a lot of overlap between clowning and maybe um, just like a general like play, just normal theater. But I think one cool way to think about it is like a lot of times, like a theater show, like a play, the actors are making the world and then the audience gets to like peek inside that world. And clowning is more like the clown is in the world with the audience. And the clown might transform that world into a more magical place where things can happen that can't usually happen, but the audience is there with them. And the clown is always, always, always addressing the audience. And that took me a while to really understand. But once I kind of got it, I was like, oh, this is the best. Yeah, no fourth wall.
So, what is? Can you describe for me your first gig as a clown? What was the first thing you actually got paid to do in the art form?
Yeah, I guess the first time I was hired to actually be like a clown was right after I finished at the Del Arte school, and I hadn't gone to this clown conservatory yet. I was just spending some time in my hometown, and some friend of a friend's mom recommended me to a person who was planning a birthday party for like triplet 5-year-old boys. So I was like, yes, I will do it. And it was rough. I had maybe 10, 15 minutes of silliness. It was, it was rough. But the people had a great time, so they say. The kids got to play, so that was good. But I remember being done and being like, whew, okay, I got some work to do. I didn't really have like acts. It was rough, but I made it. And
I
it's
remember I
it's
remember
gotten
all
better since then.
those early gigs like that being just demoralizing for me. Just like,
Yeah.
oh no, I am not. I cannot do this. I am not a birthday party person. I don't have the material. I don't have the chops. I mean, I love playing with kids, but you can only keep dropping your juggling ball so many times before it gets old. Um,
Yeah, birthday parties can be brutal. It's weird sometimes, I feel like sometimes performers who work almost exclusively in like a theater environment can get a little bit of an attitude, a little bit snooty thinking about birthday party clowns. And I don't think that's really wise because birthday parties are hard.
Yeah.
It's like just in a very like animal sense, like you're not on your turf. You are going into like I don't know, I keep thinking about like the firefighters who parachute in to fight the forest fire. Like that's like being a birthday party clown. Um yeah, it's its own thing, and you're very much like in the kid's turf, and if the kid's not feeling it, like it's hard. Um but it's good. I think I like doing birthdays. It's not my main thing. I'm not really like trying to seek that out a lot, but sometimes people contact me for that, and I like doing it. I think it makes me a stronger performer for doing that. Then when you go back to a theater, it feels so easy. It's like the lights are off, they got a light pointed at you. Like it's just so much easier.
What are some of the pros and cons of doing clown?
Um, yeah, I think a lot of the pros, I mean, if you enjoy the art form, I feel really lucky that I get to spend so much of my time and energy pursuing something really fun and really creative. It takes a lot of discipline too because it's hard. Like you'll have these really wonderful moments, and then just like it can feel it's weird because it's like you can spend a lot of time and it can feel really grueling and like you're not getting anywhere to do like 20 seconds of like the silliest thing. It's like sometimes I just have these moments like, whoa, I've been torturing myself with how do I put on this hat, it's bizarre. But it's really great. You do get these like when it goes well, it feels really good. It's like this really magical moment of connection between you and the audience or your other performers. Um, yeah, when it clicks, it's really great. Um, and it's also just like plain fun, and I like that. I like fun, and I like nerding out about how to construct fun. I think that's cool. Um, Disadvantages are, it's really can be really financially unstable. It's like a feast and famine kind of thing, and everybody has to figure that out for themselves. There's like so many factors. I would say that's the hardest part for me, anyway. Yeah, another hard part, like it I feel like some people might have a job that maybe their whole heart and soul isn't in, and sometimes that seems really appealing to me. Like, okay, you're clocked in, and then you clock out, and then you go have fun or go to a party or whatever. And I feel like most of the people I know who are in the performing arts of any kind, it's like you're never really done. It's like even when you're just hanging out, part of you is still like the gears are turning, like you're still trying to figure that out. And when something doesn't go well, it's really hard to not take that really personally because you've put your whole self into it. And so that's been something that's been kind of hard to figure out a healthy balance with, but I think everybody has to figure out how to do that for themselves.
It's a real difficult line to walk. I know that I didn't have the cojones to be a full time clown. I just didn't have that kind of bravery. The idea that I wouldn't have a stable income was just too much for me. So I went into production instead, and that gives me an excuse to have, an excuse to have a job. It's like, well, I got to pay for things. I got to pay for the show, so I have to have a job. Sorry, I can't be a full-time clown, because I feel so much more respect for people who make performance the majority of what they do.
You know, there's that too, but I think it really can go every which way. Like, I think it's also totally fine to have a different job and do clowning in whatever time or capacity makes sense. Because, like, if you are just doing, like, if you're doing your art full time and you're only making your income from that, then you end up also making artistic decisions that you might not do otherwise. Like, I don't know, like I've done a lot of like corporate gigs and stuff, and some of them are fine, but like, I don't know, when the pandemic hit, I was also like, I feel fine with not helping someone have a fun day because their boss said this is the time on this Tuesday that you're gonna have fun. You know what I mean? So I really think, I don't know, I really just hope anyone who might listen to this doesn't feel necessarily discouraged because they're not doing their art as their only source of income. That doesn't diminish the art at all.
Well, that is encouraging for me to hear other
Yeah.
people say that, because it's still a worry in the back of my mind, It's still something that in the long run I would like to be able to do full time. I would like to be able to pursue my art full time, but there's a mortgage and a family on the way and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to figure, there's just like so many different factors in everyone's individual lives and also in the like societal situations. Like, there's no shame in not having your only source of income being your art.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, okay. I mean, it's like, it also depends on the kind of art you're doing and like how palatable that might be to the forces of capitalism, for example. So, I feel like my friends who do like weirder art that's maybe not, gonna get hired for like Amazon Fun Day, for example. Like, their art is not any less legitimate, but they might not be paying their rent doing that art. You know what I mean? And so, like, I'm just really trying to untether art from the commercial viability of it. Like, I don't know, it might be a little contradictory to say, like, I think it's totally great if you can make all your money from doing your art, but if that's the only kind of art we have, the art's gonna, the whole art ecosystem's gonna suffer.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. What I was going to say was, if we don't end up we're in the process of working on a surrogacy thing right now to try and have a kid. But if we don't have a kid, I'm probably going to go out for the new Ringling show that's coming back. They're bringing back Ringling. They're bringing back Ringling, and the idea of being a train clown for a year is really appealing. I mean, it's not going to pay anything, and the art isn't going to be necessarily the best art, but you get to be a train clown, and that's just
pretty cool. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
It's got its own deep feel.
Yeah. But it's its own style. I respect the art of the Ringling Clowns. Like, it's it's kind of like an athletic thing. You just gotta get out there, do it, get some laps, get out. I love that.
What is your process for creating a new piece or a role? How do you go about creating a new work?
Okay. Yeah. If I think for me, when I make the best stuff, it's typically I give myself a lot of time to just mess around. If I don't give myself that amount of time, I don't find the best things. So, yeah, like, I get ideas constantly. I feel like assaulted by ideas like all the time. I don't have to go looking for them. They like haunt me. Everybody's different. So it's more like, You know, it's like the ideas that just won't go away. I'm like, okay, that's the one I have to actually work on. um, yeah, I just, you know, it's always different. Like there are some acts that kind of just happen, like all semi instantaneously, and then they, you know, even those take a lot of fine tuning and stuff. But others, it's like maybe just cooking up like for years. And yeah, I'm a very strong believer in the power of a deadline. There's like no magic like a deadline. Like you're going to be in front of some people on Friday at 7. Like those are the most magical words ever invented. So there's that.
What is your litmus for knowing before you get in front of an audience, before you can actually hear people laughing? What's your litmus for knowing if something is going to be good or not?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I'm not always right. Not always right. I think that's kind of the sort of it developed like an instinct for that over the years, because there's definitely been some times I've been wrong. I haven't usually been wrong necessarily about like a whole act, but you know, within an act, like you're like, oh, this moment is really gonna get him, and then you're in front of people and like it doesn't. You're like, okay, you just keep moving on. And it's always different. I love that. I love that. I love, I don't know. That for me is one of the funnest and hardest things. It's like you did an act yesterday, like you're doing it today. It's in for a different crowd, different context, different like demographic of people, whatever. And maybe they laugh at different parts. And I just love that challenge of like, you have to be 100% present, listening to make very subtle adjustments in pacing and like, what moment do you hit here? You know, like if they laugh at this moment today, and then like, okay, you need to take a couple more seconds to go there. But like, oh, today they didn't laugh at that first part. Well, maybe you can hit the thing that happens right after that a little harder in a way that wouldn't make sense if they had laughed. You know, just like all those kinds of adjustments. I love that.
What is who are some of your influences, some of your inspirations? Who are some of the media or people that have inspired the clown that you became?
Yeah. Well, I think as a very little kid, I saw on PBS television Victor Borgia, and that was pretty big. I was like, oh, it's music, but it's funny. That was really, I remember being I mean, first of all, I thought it was hilarious, but then I also remember being like, how is this funny? Like, how is he doing that? And that was really big. And then growing up, you know, I just really liked a lot of like classic sketch comedy and stuff. Like I definitely really loved like In Living Color. You know, me and my brother were not supposed to watch it. We had like this tiny black and white TV in our room that we shared as little children. And I just remember turning it on with the volume very low, like secretly watching Jim Carrey and everybody on Living Color. Yeah. Yeah. And then later, you know, saw Bill Irwin was definitely, I was like, oh, this is a different level. This performer is, yeah. Seeing just his videos, I was like, this is a really fascinating performer. You know, I feel really thankful for being in when we were in clown school. Dominique Jandot showing us just like so many amazing videos of like clowns in like the classic European circuses and stuff. And even recently, a friend of mine wanted to watch some clown stuff, and I was like, oh, you should check out Circopedia. There's just like a really awesome archive of really great clowns. So yeah, I guess those are some influences.
Wow, I don't think Dominique showed us any videos my year. Like I don't have
Oh,
any recollection of him showing us videos at all. Maybe one time, and that was it.
okay.
I mean, he
Well, yeah,
taught
you
us
should definitely
entrees.
look at Circopedia. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. He taught us entrees for sure,
Yeah.
but beyond that, I don't remember there being a lot of Dominique education. So that's interesting.
Okay.
Okay, I'll check it out. Circopedia.com.org.
Uh, I don't remember.
Okay, well they can look it. You can look it up, audience. Um, So, what is a role or project you've always wanted to do, but because of the logistics or budget or whatever, you couldn't?
Yeah, that's a great question. Huh. Well, I definitely have a lot of ideas for like really big, grandiose cast, like big cast productions that I just don't have the money to make that happen. But yeah, if for some reason suddenly someone was like, "We need you to produce an amazing show. Money is no object," I would just love to do like a comedic opera, for example. With like a lot of times I'll see a band and I'll be like, I wish I could do a show and have these people in the band be like the people at the laundromat who suddenly burst into song and like pull out their instruments, for example. But I'm just like, I have no budget to coordinate 40 people to stop whatever else they're doing with their life and rehearse for many months and then do this show. But that's the sort of thing that distracts me all the time. I'm just like, oh my God, this Balkan women's chorus, I wish they could be in my show. And maybe they would like to, but I also would love to pay everyone a living wage to do that work. And that's
Yeah.
hard.
Paying people is hard. Paying
Paying
people
people's
is a
hard.
pain
Yeah.
in the ass. It is the hardest part of being a producer is
Yeah.
coming up with the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, just a couple more questions before we're done. Um, if I can remember what they were. um, they were we just asked about the big the thing and the other thing. What are you working on now? What's next for you? Where can people find your work and what's coming up?
Yeah. Um, right now I'm working on some stuff with the ensemble I told you about earlier, String and Shadow Puppet Theater here in Olympia. In a few weeks, we're going to remount the puppet show that we did for that we did for the drive-in puppet show, and the name of that one is The Paper Moon. And yeah, we're going to be doing that indoors this time around in a theater in Olympia, which is fun. It was really fun to do it outdoors, but it's also like it was kind of stressful because it's like these big cardboard flats, and it's like as soon as the wind blows, everyone like you have to hold on to them. So like, I'm kind of excited to have that particular thing not be a factor during the performance. And then we're getting ready to do a big show this summer with that same group, also with a live band this year. And yeah, still developing exactly what that show is going to be, but I'm going to be one of the main characters. I think I'm probably going to be some sort of silly knight. It might be vaguely medieval,
Okay.
but all of that could change.
And that's what's it called again? Shadow and String?
String and Shadow Puppet
String and Shadow
Theater.
Puppet Theater. I'm assuming they have a website.
Yeah. String and Shadow Puppet Theater. I think it's .com.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
One last question before I let you go. If you could tag someone else to be on the podcast after you, who would it be?
Oh, wow. Great question. Huh. I recently got to see Jan Dom perform, and I think Jan Dom's done a lot of really fun stuff. I don't know if he's already been on here, but
No, I
yeah,
haven't seen him in forever. Yeah, I'll reach out. That's a good idea.
yeah. Or Virka is busy. Virka's doing some teaching right now, I think, at the Marsh in San Francisco.
I didn't know.
I mean, all the circus finale ladies, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Well, Luz, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Your episode will be going up on the 1st of next month, so April Fool's Day.
Oh, my favorite day.
All right.
Awesome.
I'll see you later, Luz.
All right. See you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Ridiculous Life of a Clown. If you enjoyed this program and you'd like to get more of it, please consider sponsoring us on Patreon at patreon.com/picklewater. For as little as $1 a month, you can help make sure that this podcast keeps coming to your ears on a regular basis. Theme music by Kevin MacLeod.